Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to Synergetic Games. My name is Natalie, and today we are going to be playing some more Stanley Parable. I posed the question to you whether you guys would want to play some more today. You said yes, and I said okay. So we're gonna do that. Hi Dan, how are you? Welcome to the stream. How you been, buddy? Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm really low energy today. Seriously, I got woken up by my cat at like 7 o'clock, so I fed her. She was fine. This is fine. And then I got woken up a second time by one of my other cats at like 10 o'clock, so I thought, yes, I'll wake up. I'll just be up. And then I was doing stuff, and then for a while I sat on my computer doing a few things. Up to and including some job application stuff. But like after that, I was like, oh my god, my eyes are so sore. And then I put something on the television and I kind of just fell asleep because my eyes are sore, and I just missed most of what I put on to watch. And my alarm went off to go to work, and I almost didn't. I was just so freaking tired. Arranging loads of appointments, yeah. I've been okay. Just been super low energy today. Or it feels like that anyway. I'm like a meh. I haven't had my serotonin today. Okay, that might be a bit dramatic. Like, I've had some good days, but largely I've just been really tired. Um, so to be honest, this stream almost didn't happen. So I was this close, but I thought, no, I'm going to commit to this. I said I would. I need to stop not streaming. I gotta do it. But you know what? Let's get into the game because we've got some stuff to do. I don't know how long the stream is going to be, though. Might be just a couple hours, maybe 3 if we just get really distracted. But let's get into the game. Gonna launch it, grab you guys, drag you over. We're always feeling tired most of the day. Yeah. Yeah, it's just we're just having those times. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if I was anemic again. I do need to go to the doctors and see, because that might be a reason that I'm so tired all the time. Now. But yeah, it's just today's not been going well. So like as I say, every time we come into the game so far, it's asked us for the time. And the last time we played the game is because it said just because you could set it to whatever time you like. And I've decided that I'm going to use the time 432 because that is Stanley's employee number. And I thought, yeah, okay, let's do that. 4:32 a.m., your favorite time of the day. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 4:32 a.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. It's very inaccurate. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple of new ones. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Ooh, new sliders. The game knows. Oh yeah, we made it to the Stanley Parable too, like officially. Sorry, ignore my ginormous cup of tea.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
I was wrong. That's not his employee number. I thought it was. I was lied to.
Room 427, and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
Never mind. We can fix that next time.
A monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind a job like that.
Stanley relished every moment of the ordeal, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Maybe it did, but I'm not convinced.
Something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not
it's a little quiet. Okay.
Order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Hang on.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years of...
Oops. Sorry. I adjusted the volume and then had to click on the screen and it just decided to skip it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided
Hi,
to go
1
to
or
the
2,
meeting.
by the way.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Figurine Finders Committee. Meeting today in the meeting room. The time never changes. Has anybody noticed this? He's in a weird little limbo place.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nice choice of balloons. Those weren't the balloons I picked. It was just the narrator being a bit of a dick. I'm gonna go right. We never go right. We'll do this today. Oh no, I went left like an idiot. Never mind. We're just gonna go this way now. There will be a reward for finding them all. Lies. Stop kidding yourselves. I want them so much. I want to go home. There will be cleaning of this wall required. Who are you? 666, lol. Looks like 427. Mission status inside of a sequel exhibit. A large room, lots of boxes, stairs, something to do with stairs. Somewhere, both red and blue. Nearby a fireplace, a private but smelly place. For an important person. Yes, this is the location of all the figurines, because we found that one we found number 6 in the bathroom. I don't remember where we found figurine number 5, but we found another figurine in the exhibit place for thingy number 2. Is this some kind of game? There must be a point to this. Figures are hard to find. Follow clues provided by employee 416. We can do it. Thank you, and good luck. Trust the completionist instinct. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? This investigation, this room, they feel pointless, TBH. what we know, what we forgot, what we don't know yet, and bonus stuff. Employee 421 building a bridge. Saw one in cargo room. Do we need contacts for them? Potential liability. Weird spinning figurines. Okay. Ah! This is getting all kinds of interesting. Can't get back into the oh.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yes, I did go left. I'm extremely tired.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
There's no buckets. Going downstairs.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1?
Figgly Wigglies.
I'm sure it will come to me. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Why are we going in circles?
Matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
I am not.
So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was
I'm doing
in
okay.
control,
Bit tired
that
myself.
this was a dream.
How are
So he
you?
closed his
How was
eyes
work?
gently,
Tell me
and he
everything.
invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back. the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Oh no, I'm not okay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Well, all right then.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think.
What positive news? Tell me everything,
way,
if you want to
seeing
share
this
it
man
anyway.
made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
It's not my first time playing the Stanley Parable,
so it
no.
was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
I've never had this
And then
ending,
she
though.
turned and ran.
Because we had a session last week of playing the Stanley
All of
Parable.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided
And
to
I
go
played
to
a
the
lot
meeting
of the
room.
original
Perhaps
in
he
my
had
own
simply
time.
missed a memo.
How am I strangely quiet? Oh, it's the bucket!
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
I can't believe I forgot the bucket. We have to bring it downstairs now, don't we?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, we have to go bring this downstairs now. Don't think we've ever been downstairs with the bucket. Things might be different now. Yep, something to do with stairs. We got it. You'll be moving... Ooh, yay! You'll be moving in at the start of the month.
Stanley
Nice.
and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
No, we're going downstairs. You can't...
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows
Bucket!
what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
No!
Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now
He's rejected the bucket! What do we do?
Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
There's so many
He had to
buckets!
find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from.
Him.
The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
Oh no.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Oh, Jesus!
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
You go, Mariella. Jesus.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Okay, this time we aren't going that way. We're going this
Stanley
way.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Huh. Would you look at that? No! We're going this way.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Oh, this is the room full of boxes. There's a Stanley over there. There's a Stanley.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Oh, there's an exit. I thought I might have to commit casual suicide for a second there. Collectibles, yeah. Ooh, geez, what is this? This is an interesting floor. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Cassette tapes everywhere.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This
He
is
inflicted
my
upon
golden ticket.
us with the bucket.
But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
Jeez. I'm not sure how I feel about
All of
that.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We're not going to the
Warmth
meeting
spread
room,
through
guys.
Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
I'll tell you what, though. If I feel like it, this bucket makes the whole game way more intense.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took
Yeah,
the door
screw
on his
you,
left
bucket.
to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He
No!
was firmly... But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Sorry, I had to do that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd
But, like-
never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
The amount of paper in this office is just increasing.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Let's do what the bucket
Good,
says, guys.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Except I didn't. Oh, Jesus. I needed this. I wanted this. To be one.
No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Good. Oh, okay.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Okay. I was just going to say no to everything.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Blatantly a bucket.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Sorry, my plan was to say no to every bucket.
Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
Oh, okay.
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
It is and isn't a bucket.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Oh, it's got that funky wallpaper.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Yes.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
No! Not. No! Bucket!
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait,
Oh no, is there
was
a bucket
everything
overlord?
bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay?
Oh thank God.
And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
I was really starting to worry. What do I do without my bucket?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket.
I don't
Off
like
on
this.
Another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No, we still have to
This
do
was
what the
not the
bucket
correct
says.
way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Stupid bucket.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Because the bucket's always right. We've been set adrift without the bucket many,
In
many
here,
times.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Dark
Stanley
room.
once again obeyed blindly.
Okay, into the dark room we go.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press J to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Press X to take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Where's my bucket? Oh god, there he is. Go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Pales is a word. Don't listen to the loud man. Press I for us to go home together.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he
The
cares about is
beige
this
pages.
awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
The bucket's going to murder me in my sleep, isn't it? Press C to ignore anyone in your life except me.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort
Where's
of
my bucket?
shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Where's my bucket? My bucket's gone. Where's my bucket? Do you guys see my bucket? Oh god, there it is. Okay. You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press I to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press R to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more
It's
than just
trapping
a regular
me.
bucket?
My world is becoming smaller because of this bucket. I don't like it. The metaphor is too strong. It's not even really a metaphor, it's actually happening to Stanley. Press Y to go home, to work, to go home, to work, to home, to work, to home, to... Yeah.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. Oh, no.
Oh.
What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
I'm being... romanced by a bucket. Husband. Okay.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
I've been seduced by the bucket. Go back to work, Stanley. I think we should leave the bucket alone for a while.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Goodbye, bucket. I need you no longer.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Now, I need to show you guys something. I don't know if you've come across this before, but this, it may take some time, but we're just going to stay in this room. We're just going to stay in this room, and we're going to see what happens. We're just going to not move. We're not going to do anything. I'm so sick of making choices right now. But yeah, we're just gonna stay here. So, everybody, tell me about your day. Wonder if you can jump out of the death trap when you fall down into escape path. He said he had a jump circle somewhere, right? I don't know. I don't know, but I've used all my jumps up. They haven't given me any new jumps.
Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe every fascinating little detail of his inability to do anything. This is why Stanley and I are on such good terms.
No, you don't understand. We're not doing anything. We don't want to make a decision. We're gonna stay right here. We're gonna stay right here. I wonder where the hole is too. Well, the hole, we already came across the hole. We fell in it. We had a weird time. I believe the VOD is still up if you want to check it out, but it was a weird time. I don't know if you were there for that, but it was in the exhibit area. And we got shown the bottomless hole. Then we jumped into the bottomless hole, and then the narrator was like, I might have over exaggerated the bottomlessness of this hole. And then we hit the bottom of the hole, and then we started, teleporting out of the hole and jumping right back in again. And then the bottomless hole became slightly less bottomless every single time. And then we had a weird, trippy thing happening. We're watching the Clone Wars series for the first time, discussing what each gen of Pokemon brought to the games. Yeah, like Gen 1 and Gen 2 of Pokemon, and then I kind of lose track and stop caring. But only because I love Chikorita so much. I love her, and some of the Gen 2 Pokemon are so cute. Oh my god. Like that one that looks like a stripy ferret. That's adorable. I forget what that one's name is. Apparently there's Gen 9. There's many gens, and I'm sure there will continue to be more, and they will just become even more ridiculous. There's literally a Pokemon that is an ice cream. It's an ice cream. LeChonk. So I hesitate to imagine what the Pokemon song is like now. You know that song that just lists every single Pokemon in the game? There's like over 400 Pokemon now. It must be so freaking long. And they must do it like alphabetically too, so you've got to add every single Pokemon to every single game alphabetically and just make it really confusing, because they're not going to do it alphabetically game by game, are they? Or, well, they might, but like,
Yeah.
You know, it's
One of those
going to get
shows,
silly.
it doesn't seem
At some point,
intended
a
it.
Pokemon song is not going to be a viable option.
One of those quiet little burners becomes a bit cultish. Yeah. Steve Martin.
Still I'm just going to wait to see how long it takes for something to happen if I don't make a decision. No, it's done by Pokedex number. Is it? Oh, okay.
But I looked at other characters.
Yeah, that would make more sense, wouldn't it? Because, yeah, it goes through the evolutions, doesn't it? The first gen Pokedex entries weren't alphabetical. Well. No, you're right, they weren't. I don't really know by what they were. Do you know? I actually have a little Pokedex. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. It's my Pokedex.
Yeah. Oh yes. It's good fun. Well, yeah, I don't think it actually watched it.
Excuse me. Okay. I honestly don't know if it even turns on anymore. But I have a little Pokedex. And it's like legit and everything. That's the back of it.
Yeah.
But check it out. It's so good.
It does have it.
I'm gonna.
Yeah. It does have its twists and turns as well as the.
Give me a moment. I'm over here. And show you guys. I can do the whole thing. It's a whole thing.
You go.
I haven't pushed the start button yet. Okay, let's turn it on. Oh my god! It turns on! Turns on, everyone! Got a little Pikachu.
Okay.
I've had this for years. I'm shocked it turns on. I'm shocked it turns on at all.
Okay. She's been screaming about something about buckets. I don't know.
Okay. There's just a Pikachu. I'm gonna push buttons until something happens, because I don't really know.
Okay.
It's just a little Pokemon. I don't know if
Okay.
we'll do anything anymore.
See you tomorrow.
I've literally just pushed all of the buttons and nothing is happening. The quit button doesn't work. Okay, no, it's just a Pikachu. He turns on. Oh dear. Okay, well, I'm delighted that it still does at least that, but maybe it does need a change of batteries. It is incredibly old. I have no idea how I managed to keep this all these years. I've never seen anything else like it anywhere, but to be honest. Press the reset button when you first access blah blah blah. Okay, maybe I'll push the reset button, but I'm gonna need some sort of pin or something. But we'll work on that later. But just so everybody knows, I have a Pokedex. And it barely works. being. I forget what to do to make it do stuff. Okay, so now I'm done being a dork and showing off really old toys. Nothing is happening. Alright, let's go.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love.
Yes. Really depends on how
Eager
much.
to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
No.
Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
I haven't got a bucket this time. What are you gonna do now,
Now listen
bucket?
carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
What should we do? In this episode of My Strange Addiction, Century. What episode of My Strange Addiction are you watching? The bridge is there without the bucket, yes. Hi, Starbreeze, how are you? But we came down the bridge with the bucket last time. So now we're here without the bucket to see what happens.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect
Excellent
to be rewarded
spot.
for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Oh. Who the just sits in here and smokes? Going to the blue door, guys.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
No, he didn't.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red. All right,
No.
fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Well, now I'm not doing it.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You
You
can't
have
teach
one of
that,
those?
Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Worldwide leaderboard. Okay. This is... You were objectively ranked. Friends list empty. Savage.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game,
Oh, no.
the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
That's just an invitation.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
Yes.
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Is it Portal, though? That wasn't a real baby. Oh my god!
Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
We've played this on the channel before,
Well, it seems
guys.
obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man, spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What
It's
a fascinating
Firewatch,
venture into
guys.
the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley, and it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Play Minecraft. We'll work on it. I don't know. I mean, maybe we could try and do some Minecraft at some point, but, it really depends.
No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing, that big open Just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here.
Yeah, but
Let's
now I'm
find
trapped.
another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big,
Insurmountable walls.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Oh.
Wonderful.
Rocket
See, this
League.
is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Can't believe you put me in Rocket League without a car.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay,
There are no
Stanley,
bases
here's
in
the ball.
football.
Have fun.
Ow. This is so depressing. I can't decide in real life if this would be fun if
Are you doing
without
it?
cars.
Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on?
Ah!
What are you doing?
Okay, I accidentally committed suicide. Makes sense.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come.
Filing cabinets. Ooh. Ooh. This is like ye old Portal, in the old, facility. Just waiting for Cave Johnson to come out of the walls. It's my office.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him.
Oh yeah, that would have been good. It's like, by the way,
Someone
can
who
we
will wrap
borrow like
everything
a
up in the
couple
end
minutes
to
of
make
your
sense
game or
out of
something?
the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon.
Very soon.
Very soon. I can wait.
Why does the narrator come across as so sinister sometimes? He's secretly just an unforgiving god, and it's not fair. They definitely would have had to pay at least something in terms of rights. To be, oh, geez. That's a weird... Oh.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
He might have done if I
Filling you to the
didn't commit
brim with
suicide.
inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the
Oh,
memory
that's
zone?
why that
I
felt
would
weird.
love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Are we in? We're in the memory bank. trying to be. Like, I think if I hadn't accidentally killed myself by then maybe I would have, maybe he would have. The greatest wealth is memory, which can be lost.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
We can't have 7 out of 6 figurines. That's not possible.
And here was a second Stanley. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
There are, like, a lot of endings, and you can just... You can do what you can do as you're told,
quiz. Which of these
or
rooms
not.
was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
I believe it was the boss's office, because there was a fireplace.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, behind the boss's office. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
I'm not sure that's true. But I'm not sure it's not true either.
Next? Oh yes, we found a figly in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
I'm pretty sure this didn't happen. Or at very least, the room wasn't quite as pink as this. I think we're floating.
This was the 5th mini-stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Maybe it did happen. You found it? Oh, yes. Windows Media. Love it. Word art. Excellent. You found it near the cargo lift. Thanks for watching. Registered by the narrator, music by the narrator, produced by the narrator, best boy narrator, starring Stanley. See the narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
What made that noise?
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a figly and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Okay. Let's go through the red door this time. Even though that affected nothing. You are in the present.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Memory zone.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels. Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
He's making me collect them. He is addicted to the collecting. Oh no. Well, he's done this to himself, really, deep down. He knows.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
It was pretty great. What if we just didn't? What if we stopped? Oh, damn it! I can't! I can't! He won't let me! I have to do this again. Okay.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Might be one of the artsy-fartsy rooms, really.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation.
Or you could just reward me and move on with your life. Narrator. That's right, I'm judging you. How about that? What's this way? Can't go anymore. Do I really have no choices here? Unbloody believable.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
I think perhaps next time I just won't pick them up.
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going.
He makes me do this one more time.
What came before this?
Is it the exit? Are we done? Can you find them? Duh! Oh, Jesus! It's freaking out. It does not like me looking at the statues.
It's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything.
It's not letting me look back.
I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories. Oh, yes. The two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
God damn it.
And before everything else, there was your office.
Oh my god, it won't let me turn
Is there anything
around.
else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay. It's nice to know I don't exist.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Should we have the bucket again, do you guys think? I want whatever's in that room. Any of us truly say we exist? I mean, I sure hope so. Okay, we'll take the bucket.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfect. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, let's do that.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
The writing on the wall
Perhaps
is
his
gone.
boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Tips for not getting fired. The only people that perceive us. We also perceive there are billions of other people who never perceive us, perhaps because they do not exist. Yes, that is a good theory about object permanence.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
To be rich, is it a crime? To commit crimes, isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. God, Stanley's boss gets bored.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
You mean this one?
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Absolutely. Not listening to the narrator at all. Aw, I was hoping to push up. Do you know what? It's always fun to have some
The elevator
philosophical
raced
musings,
downward,
let's be real.
plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Oh Jesus, that didn't sound healthy.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I don't think we ever actually did this.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Where am I? Where's my office? Is that it? No. What's my number again? 274? I do need hugs. You've been trying Elden Ring again. Oh. Oh. Don't worry. Have a cup of tea. That's the closest thing to a hug I could possibly give you. At the moment, obviously. 437. Well, there somewhere. Okay, I found us. We're right here. I'm not sure that's our office.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Thanks.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so there's several buttons. Do you have to push them in order? Can't see anything. Oh, there's the stairs. I think. Can I not get up those? Okay, 1, 2. 3. Yeah, well, I don't see... How do I open them? Now, I saw something that looks suspiciously like a power button, but I don't remember where it is, because I can't see anything. Aha! Let me turn it on. There's definitely like a gate in the way here. I can't get in there. I just don't know what to do, man. I can't jump it. It won't let me. Ooh, what is this? That sure is a set of stairs. To a door that does nothing. Okay. What? What? What's obvious? Huh.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Yay! Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Damn it, if only I could jump.
Filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Well.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting.
Why are you constantly jeopardizing my freedom? Stupid bucket. Thinks it's so freaking great, but it's not.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Way ahead of you, narrator. Getting out of this
There was
stupid
not a single
building.
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Come on, boss man, let's go.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Yeah, move
That
on.
kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
This makes speedrunning so hard.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
If I didn't have that bucket, I could have parkoured my way out of this stupid building.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. I
suppose if you want to speedrun Stanley Parable, you better just do what the narrator
What
says.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
Employee
Stanley's
fired.
coworkers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Let's go!
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had
There's a
Stanley
stair
really
and a
been under
step ladder.
someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I'm beginning to think that fired employee did all of this.
No.
He
refused
systematically
to
got
believe
rid of
it.
everyone
He
and
couldn't
tortured
accept it.
Stanley
His own
specifically.
life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was
Apparently.
the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Damn straight, Mr. Narrator. I'm gonna leave. Leave this place. Hi.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel.
I feel like GLaDOS has
Whatever life
kicked
he
me out of the
lives,
building.
it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Aww. And yet... Oh, I just got an achievement. Beat the game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yes, well now we've got other stuff to do, don't we?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And I think you know what it is we need to do. We need to go back there.
Yet there
Turn
was
the
not a
machine
single person here either.
on.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway.
Kill surprise. Thank you, narrator, for doing that for me. Thanks. Whee!
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Sure did. Boom.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I shall rule the world! That's my plan, anyway.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The
Maybe
lives of so
Stanley
many
was fired.
individuals reduced to images on a screen.
And he's just
Stanley,
having a breakdown.
one of them, eternally
There's
monitored
also a
in this place
fairly
where freedom meant nothing.
logical conclusion.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I absolutely do not know how to do that. But you know what? We're gonna learn on the job.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life
Employee
in someone
pirate.
else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Yes.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content.
Subliminal
Walking,
messaging
eating,
would be the
working,
closest thing.
all of it
Maybe,
monitored
yeah.
and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Lol.
For he... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this
Okay,
means.
gotta
I
push
barely know
button
where to
number
start.
5.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley?
Right, let's
that
go.
This video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Wow.
Take a look at the clock.
Really
Stanley.
rude.
That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's
Goodbye.
all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be
How
laughing
dare
at
you.
every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
God damn it. He was pretty sus. He deleted
All
them.
of his co-workers
They're all
were
gone.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm not taking the bucket with me.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm going right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic. Like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Okay.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I am powerful, thank you.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Sheriff
When
Hughes!
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge.
Very pretty.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
You're gonna go to bed? Thank you for popping by. Sleep
Stanley
well when
was
you
so
go.
bad at following directions,
I
it's
will see you
incredible he
when I
wasn't
see
fired
you.
years ago.
Possibly not Friday.
Look, Stanley,
Yet to
I
be
think perhaps
determined.
we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story is being... But in his
Shit.
eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do...
I got a little too
Stanley
close to
leapt
the
from
edge there.
platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I just wanted to get on the platform below.
All of his co-workers
Rip
were gone.
me.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of
I don't remember that blue corridor. We were just there.
And Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay.
It sure was.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust
Really,
in
I'm
someone else
not.
can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Let's do that this time.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop.
Don't you?
We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Nope. Just gonna keep going. See what happens. I'm gonna see if anything happens, honestly. I don't think he's going to react.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Oh, I can't even.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Pretty.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
I want to see if he'll... Let's go be happy.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
Let's watch the pretty lights. Starbreeze, I could not possibly tell you what you are watching. You are watching the Stanley Parable, and that's all any of us really know. But what we are having is a lovely, relaxing time. Yeah, it is beautiful, yeah. I'm telling you, this needs to be like a proper art installation in a gallery or something. Just a big old dome of art. wonder if they're going to introduce another color. That'd be nice. Maybe a nice yellow. I think this might be it, you know. This will be in the next comment. Better be.
No! What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. You heard me before, didn't you? You will die! What about this isn't getting through to you? No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other... No. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, sure, on my remaining ankle.
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Pretty.
No, perhaps not.
His walking speed has just slowed down so much.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
It's so sad. But it's true.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
Oh.
I just wanted us to get along. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
I'm so sorry, narrator. But look, though.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I still thought that was possible.
It is very pretty. Sorry, narrator. But I just can't be here. I mean, where do I eat? Where do I sleep? No, it's not possible. I've tried a couple times. I'm not allowed. Sadly. It would be nice to fall into such prettiness, wouldn't it? Instead, we have this option. Some very sad stares.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Poor boy. Even though I know you're completely evil. Like, there's no real option here, is there?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket? Bucket?
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket.
A bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Nope. I'm not sure we've been down here with the bucket. We probably have, but, what can we say? This must be... Ooh.
Good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere.
Is that the
bucket
fern?
isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Oh my god, that's the baby.
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Oh, the Broom Closet. Classic.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
I can barely see the Adventure Line. This is so difficult.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Do I want to give up the bucket? Do I? It looks like Jill.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy
You just keep
your
hugging the bucket to
Destroying
me. I
buckets
can't throw
is
it
all
out.
It knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the bucket destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Couldn't do it. I couldn't give him the bucket. Oh, Jesus.
The bucket destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Well, my only property. I'm running out of things to do. What haven't we done yet?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I don't know. Cause, have we gone down the you know when we get to the mind control facility and there's that room?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You know, outside the mind control facility. Have we gone to the escape room without the bucket?
Here's the door, just go.
Thanks. Well, let's try that. I don't really remember what happens.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it,
I distinctly remember coming down here with the
fall,
bucket.
Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Whee!
As the machine
Oh yeah, actually we may have done this.
Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise.
We may have done this without the bucket
no
already.
consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh yes, the maintenance room. I remember the maintenance room. The book? Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted this as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Alien base. Awesome. There is a skeleton inside of you. There are more skeletons in this world than humans. You're probably not wrong about that. Am I Stanley? Are you spying on me? I don't... Why? How? Well, the game feature capybaras. More things should feature capybaras, to be honest. They're cute. Dear narrator, how do you stay in shape? Sincerely, Michael the Rock Martin. Oh, okay. From Dink Dunk. Okay. Dear narrator, I appreciate the previous Stanley game as a work of art and a standalone title. I appreciate the credit given to the art, which is why blah blah blah. Will the Stanley Parable have infinite quests? How many endings? If the Stanley Parable is really going to let me go shopping, I hope. How do you make a JRPG? How do you make the worst game ever? What is the difference between a duck? And what else? How is the game going? I hope it's good or better than the first one. From a cool man. Are you a rock? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I was gonna say, I wish I was. I'm sure life would be much easier if I was just a rock. Could you tell me what the significance of the number 111 to 800 is? Well, the thing I want to know is, what would you do if Stanley entered any other rooms? For instance, on a scale of Max Ernst to Salvador Dali, how surreal would this game be? Would you be born with a magnificent voice or blah? Congratulations, congratulations. In line with our previous announcement regarding one going on promotion, is a result of blah blah blah. Greetings, omnipotent voice. I wanted to tell you that I like the Stanley Parable as much as I like seeing humans. Blah 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 blah. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Oh. Apartment timer. In a previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. We did that, but we answered the phone and then we had a little breakdown and got seduced by a bucket. If I could remember how to get there, we'd go again without the bucket. Little, you know.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you...
I wonder if something will happen if I do that. Begin the game. Because otherwise
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I just get crushed.
Stanley
here
worked
again.
for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427.
This game is getting pretty meta, yeah.
He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Goodbye, Bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Trying to think. We went to the right. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the phone room again.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes. Because we go here. We go
eager to get back to business,
to
Stanley took the
red and blue
door
doors.
on his left.
Screw you, office.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired.
We still actually haven't gone up there without the bucket.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. Really?
I love that.
Something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Did we go through the blue door to get the food? Because we went through here, and we got into the pretty place. So then we committed suicide slowly. I think we go through this one.
Perhaps you misunderstood.
No, I didn't.
Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
And got the third door.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here.
I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
I do enjoy
Tell
a
you
good
what,
skill tree
let me
now
take
and
a stab
again.
in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours.
All right,
So
guys,
why
let's
don't you
go.
give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective. Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
This is incredibly annoying.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Do you know what? This isn't the worst decision we could have made.
Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Because it'll take us to Firewatch.
Aha!
Then
Fascinating.
it'll
What do you
take
think
us
this
to
game
the
is
other
about,
thing.
Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Don't tread on me. How dare you? How dare you tell me what to do? Because if we don't accidentally kill ourselves at a...
No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
No!
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call.
Let's see if something else happens if we don't accidentally kill ourselves at
thing,
Rocket
that
League.
big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley.
Are we?
Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
No.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Oh, I wanted to see if I could make it in there.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Let's roll it over to the green goal this time. I highly expect that we'll be doing more or less the same thing. We'll see if it takes us to Minecraft.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes!
It sure is
goodness,
two of
that
them.
really does feel amazing,
Oh
doesn't it?
dear.
Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls!
It's making me go faster now. I don't like it.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes.
Okay.
You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video
But I
games
don't
are
want
nothing.
any boundaries.
Yes, that's what I am. I am structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
You're really salty. It's like I can't even, like, kick a ball around.
Hold on. What are you doing?
Ha ha.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
We did have this one, but also we didn't have the narrator tantruming quite as much.
Do they all lead to the same place, mister?
Yeah, true. But we missed some dialogue. I don't think we're gonna get a different ending. Unless we come here with the... No, we can't come here with the bucket. So says the rules.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon.
Very soon.
Very soon. I can wait.
Very rude. Okay. So you know what? I'm gonna call it quits for the evening. Much has happened. Much continues to happen. I don't know if we'll be back with it next week. So as I say, there's like a lot going on. Give me a moment. Okay. Sorry. I was downloading one of my VODs before I launched the game. Like I just realized there was like a pop-up where it's like save it. Because I am like this close to losing the finale of Subnautica and we really don't want to do that. So thank you so much for being here. Sleep well when you go. If it's not your bedtime, have a great time zone. I have not... I suppose it depends on how much energy I have on the end of Friday, but as I say, I've got plans on Friday, so it's really up in the air whether or not I do end up actually streaming. And I don't know what the plan is for Saturday, so we're gonna wing it. I don't know. I'll see what we're doing. Maybe we'll... I don't know. Might not even be a stream on Saturday. We might do a movie night instead. We'll see how that goes, because I've never done that on Twitch before, so maybe we'll do a movie night on Saturday as our first day on Storytime hiatus. So yeah, well, it's an experiment. We'll do something. We'll do something on Saturday. I don't know what, but we'll do it. But yeah, sleep well when you go. If it is not your bedtime, have a great time zone, and I shall see you Saturday, actually. Yeah, see you Saturday. Bye-bye.